which is much bigger than a 33.4-inch.
What's up, folks? Pretty interesting day. First off, I would like to say rest in peace to the R&B singer / rapper Enchanting. Love her music, very creative, and she will be missed by me, but I'm pretty sure that the people who are close to her, she will be dearly, dearly missed. On that note, let's get down to the subject of why I'm making this video. As you guys have heard, or hopefully you've heard, the disturbing audio of Justice Samuel Alito and his wife. And I would like to say that as an atheist, it's very, very disturbing to hear those remarks. But Justice Alito is not the only one who feels like that. My guess is every one of the Supreme Court justices feel the exact same way that Justice Alito feels. Now, some of them have great respect for the Constitution and the separation clause, separating church and state. But at any given point, if they have the opportunity to overturn or to throw that out of the Constitution, or to amend the Constitution so that that is no longer a barrier for Christian nationalism to try to make America into a theocracy, they will gladly do it. And I say that with great confidence, just looking at some of the dissenting decisions they've made, overturning Roe v. Wade, and as we see even some of the state Supreme Court justices, especially in the southern areas. You look at the Black Wall Street survivors not being compensated for the loss of family businesses and property. So we see these things happening, and people, religious people kind of gloss over the fact that this is about their religion and this is about racism. And we will be seeing more of this, especially with schools. The religious right think that they have the absolute authority to decide how children should be educated in America, based on false beliefs. The Bible is not a historical document. They cannot prove that God exists, and they cannot prove that Jesus Christ ever existed. And if you do your research, you know where those beliefs come from. And you know the truth about these people. Okay? I would like to call them the people of the lie. Well, that's my 2 cents. Just keep an eye open, ears listening, and speak the facts. Stick to the facts and the evidence, and you guys will come to perhaps the same conclusion, or at least begin to question the motives of the Christian right and the Christian nationalists, or just basically Christianity in general. Question why they feel they have the authority. With them is always God bestowed this authority, right? But God never himself speaks. It's always the followers of God speaking for him. Don't gloss over what's happening. Don't gloss over the facts. Don't gloss over that this is religious motivation, or religiously motivated. Same thing in the conflict with Israel and Gaza, right? This is much more than them trying to get rid of Hamas, right? This is about them, people of the lie, feel that they have a right, a religiously based right, to reclaim the whole of Palestine as the land that God promised to them. Okay? I've heard high-ranking cabinet members say this who live in the occupied territory. Okay? They say this, so don't gloss over that fact. That is the root, well, half of the root of the conflict. The other half has to do with, the League of Nations and the Balfour Accords. That is in itself, or was, a tragedy, and still is a travesty. But, we're at a point where, these two people who are the same, well, they claim to be the same people, but we know that that's not true, right? In terms of DNA based evidence, okay? And it's racism, right? Plain and simple, it's racism. And as much as they would like to claim that it's not about racism, it is about racism. So that's two. That's three. Racism, biblical motivation, League of Nations, Balfour Accord, and the creation of the State of Israel, and racism. All right? And fourth is oil. All right? We know that about the oil reserve in the Gaza Sea, and that is basically, in my opinion, the reason why Israel is basically committing genocide. It's not just about what happened on October the 6th or the 7th. It's not just about that, because if you look back at Israel history and you look back at the history of the treatment of Palestinians in Gaza, right, you will see that it's just not about that. Right now, there most likely, shit came to a boiling point and Hamas felt like they had to act. But my question is, why in such a long border where there's such hostility, why would Israel not have better defensive capabilities along that border? Okay? There is no reason why security along that border should have been laxed, right? And I've said it before, the occupied territory should have been used as sort of a demilitarized zone. Same according to, like North and South Korea, right? No Israelites or no Israeli should be occupying that territory because it is an illegal occupation as said by the World Court, okay? The UN, right? Said that occupation is illegal. So instead of building and moving in, and they should have just treated that area as a demilitarized zone until things can be properly sorted out by the courts. And in America, we always talk about let the courts handle it, right? But when it comes to certain countries, the law and the court, it gets thrown out the window. There's not even a mention of that, because when it comes to Israel, once again, religion is the number one factor. They don't care about what happened in World War II or what happened that created World War II or brought World War II into fruition. They don't care about that. Because when the Jews were being murdered in Germany, America didn't care, right? America didn't care. They did not care to enter the war because of that reason, right? Britain didn't care, right? The only reason why these countries waged war, Britain, France, right, didn't care, and the US, the only reason why they entered that war is because, look at it this way, when Hitler annexed Austria, they didn't care, they didn't wage war, right? But when Hitler went into Poland, that is when war was declared. And also, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, that is when the United States decided to enter the war. So that tells you, right, that they didn't care. And now, it is even more grounded. How do you say the word? Religiosity. Okay? That is what this very aggressive, very I don't give a F, we're going to bomb all these Muslims to hell, right? And most of the people that live in Gaza are children and young adults, right? Children, teenagers, and very young adults. And I've heard cabinet members say that they should go send the IDF into these hospitals when the mothers are delivering their babies and kill them all to prevent future terrorists, right? While the Israeli government had installed an apartheid state in Gaza, a prison in a sense, right? Boxing in, it reminds me of that experiment where you put a whole bunch of rats in a cage. No food, no water. And you leave them in a cage and wait for them to just kill each other. Now, I liken that analogy, right? And there's three parts to it, right? So you have Gaza, you have the rat experiments, and then you have in America these projects, right, in which to put black people in. And you use the police to box them in and try to contain them in these environments, right? Now, I don't want to go too far and stretch this thing all out because, in America, you have freedom to move about and, but stop and frisk, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so folks just like to religious folks like to gloss over and ignore. And even the moderate Christian or the very liberal Christian, they too, they gloss over it, right? When it comes to God's chosen people, right? But who was to say they're God's chosen people? Because what? They wrote a book that says they're God chosen people, right? And, everybody in that area, well, not everybody, but, those three religious fractions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Islam is supposed to be the final religion, right? Because certain people were, I guess, maybe angry at the Christians or jealous of the Christians, so they decided we are going to have our own religion too. And this is going to be the final religion because the Christians, they're so hard-headed, right? They're so hard-headed. And they're persecuting the Arabs, with Christianity. Just like how the Romans persecuted Christians, right? The Romans used to call Christians atheists. Ain't that a bitch? And they're all supposed to be believing in one God who can't fucking get his story straight. Right? But anyway, this God supposedly gave them his last and final words, right? In the Quran. But have you read the Quran? I have. It's fucking madness. Right? It's madness. Right? Same thing with the Bible. Same thing with the Torah. It's nothing. It's all madness. There's nothing in there that's factual. Right? And I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off, but I've done the research. I've read. Right? I've studied. Right? Basic, like, Christians just say, well, damn, you atheists really know the Bible. Are you sure y'all not religious? I'm like, we read the Bible because we want to know the truth, right? We just don't read the Bible. We read other historical texts from those times, right? And then we go, wait a minute. Nowhere in any of these other history books does it say anything about finding a winged horse or winged donkey or a talking donkey or a snake that talks. There is no biological evidence for any such things, right, happening. And a man can stand on a cloud. Do you know what a cloud is? You can't stand on a cloud. All right? And you can't walk on water unless your feet have some kind of paddles on it or something. All right? And you can't live in no belly of a whale or a big fish. Right? Hey, there's no fish that's that big can swallow a whole man. Right? Has to be a whale, and a whale is a mammal. It's not a fish. Now, shark, but sharks don't swallow anything whole. They bite and they chew and they, you know, gnaw and nibble and yeah. Well, damn, this video is long as crap. But I just wanted to put that out there. It's something that's been, you know, on my mind. And you know, I said, you know what, let me make this video just to express my thoughts and feelings, and you know, see what kind of feedback and response I get. All right, because I wish that people would wake up. There is no reason why people can't live side by side, right, in peace and in great respect and admiration. But there's so much hatred and bitterness and anger, and they smile at you and they go, let's pretend to be nice, let's pretend to be neighborly. But meanwhile, those bastards are creating laws to strip your rights, your humanity, your sovereignty, to strip all that away, right? Because they're not honest. They have no honor. They don't understand what it is to be a human being, because to them, they're just a vessel, right? They're just a vessel. That's all they are. They're not, but you know, everything else, they want their human rights and all of that. But in churches, they preach to you that your body, your body is just a vessel, right? Without having any proof that there is a soul or a spirit inside of you. When I say that, I literally mean they really believe that there's a ghost that's occupying your body, right? And when you die, that spirit, that ghost leaves your body, which is utter nonsense. See, look at my face, right? I mean, utter nonsense. There is no proof or evidence for any of that stuff. And indoctrination is a bitch. It's a motherfucker. It's brainwashing, all right? And they're so arrogant with it. You know, they love everything, you know. It don't matter who you are. They automatically believe that you should be godly, right? Like them. And watch out for the language. I call it the language of the Nazis, right? Because they're taking cues, and you know, the Nazis took cues from them too. Right? And the language of the Nazis, and you know, it's filled with propaganda. And I give you a perfect example. The president of the United States, Biden, got on TV and says, "We are all children of God." Oh shit. I mean, that was like, I had to be like this. Trying to dodge that shit, because I'm like, what the did he just say? We are all, but what about the people that don't believe in God? Right? You just make that blank statement and woof, just excluded everybody. Right? But of course he'll say, well, you know, I'm trying to include everybody. But see, that's the language of the Nazi. Right? That's the propaganda of the Nazi. Right? And then another example, I don't know if it's press secretary, but the black lady, you know, who always wears the crucifix and the red blush on her cheek and the curly hair and all that. You know, a reporter asked her, you know, well, what is the president doing about such and such and several issues? And she goes, well, you know, the president is busy. He's doing a lot of stuff. And the man asked, well, what is he doing? And she says, he's curing cancer. Like, curing cancer? Is he a virologist, a biologist? Does he have a PhD in medicine, in physics, or, any scientific degree? Does he put on a lab coat and go into a research facility, right? And experiment on cancer cells, right? And ways to treat and defeat cancer cells, right? Has Biden done that? So how is he curing cancer? Language of the Nazis, right? Propaganda, right? The savior complex. Remember that. On that note, I'm going to end this video and wish everyone a great day. And remember, right, to exude honor, confidence, self-respect, and respect for others. An open mind. Strut. Chest up. Head high. Ladies, walk with your shimmy, your sway. Swing that thing, walk like you own your space. Because you do. You own you. Nobody else owns you. You own you. You are your own country. Believe it. It is true. You are sovereign. Right? You live within yourself. You respect the laws of the country that you live in. And if those laws or any of those laws are unfair and unjust, then work to change it. And if you can't, just be aware of it. And try not to put yourself in situations where things that's unjust, that can harm and injure you or take away your freedom. And I say that without ignoring the fact that people do that all the time and get set up, and I understand that, right? So I just wanted to put that in there. But anyway, yep. Peace. I'm out.